praises to Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Hashem, God, love, honor, well, blessings to Akim, Ahmad, faithfully following His word, pursuing His true truth, rehearsing righteous acts, and are the real Hebrew Israelites who consist of Judah, which are the African Americans, Benjamin, which are the Jamaicans and Trinidadians, Levi, which are the Haitians, Reuben, which are the Seminole Indians and the Aborigines of Australia, Issachar, which are the Mexicans, Naphtali, which are the Hawaiians, Samoans and South Pacific Islanders, Manasseh, which are the Cubans, Zebulun, which are the Colombians, Panamanians and Guatemalans, Simeon, which are Dominicans, Asher, which are the Brazilians, Argentinians and Venezuelans, Ephraim, which are the Puerto Ricans, and Gad, which are pursuant to Psalms 83, we're not lost, but we've been miseducated from our heritage. We've been told that it says in the scriptures that in the land where it says that people that we are not people, the precept. There will they be declared the true Israelites. And it's also known as the controversy of Zion in the scriptures, understanding who these people are. These people who have been divorced from their heritage. It says in Psalm 83, it says that it's cut them off from being a nation. There's a confederacy, or even what I would even say a conspiracy. A confederacy is out in the open, and a conspiracy is in the dark. So confederate of one mind, being a conspiracy really means together, mind, concrete, together, aspire, to thought is conducive to thought, as in inspire. So they are of one mind, and heathen nations have been of one mind, and pursuant to Psalm 73, let's get some scriptures. Psalm 73 verse 5, what's it saying? I think it's Psalm 75. Let's get the Psalm 75. What's it saying? See, they just let you know. That shit just lets you know who are the people that love music. You know that Psalms are songs. That's what Psalms are. They're all meant to be sung. Like, name famous small hat musicians. Oh wait, maybe Liza Minnelli. I can't think of many. I don't even know if that is one. Let's see, Psalm 75 verse. I said unto the fools, deal not foolishly, and to the wicked lift not up your horn. Lift not up your horn and high, speak not with a stiff neck. You know, as Pharaoh did, he spoke of a stiff neck. He wasn't able to bend his stubborn opinion. He held fast to his opinion, defied all logic, defied dissent. Right, that's what a stiff neck is. For promotion cometh neither from the east or nor from the west, nor from the south, but God is the judge. He putteth down one and setteth up another. So there we go. That's, the fortunes of the, so Esau will have you believe that, the sun never set on the British Empire. It was down to our ingenuity, we managed to trap all these different nations and enslaved them, but really it was the Lord who's doing it. It was the Lord pursuant to, and the Lord was telling people years before it actually happened, like people like Daniel. He was saying, okay, so there's going to be the Assyrian Babylonian Empire, and then there's going to be the Persians and the Greeks and the Romans, the Neo-Roman Empire, also known as Babylon the Great, where we are here, for iron and clay. We were told all of these. Esau loved to believe that it was his ingenuity that he defied all of it, but actually it was the Lord. It says it here in Psalm 75, verse 5, is it? It says, "For the hand of the Lord there is a cup, and the wine is red. It is full of mixture, and he poureth out the same, but the dregs thereof all the wicked of the earth will bring them. And the wicked of the earth shall bring them out." And he's talking about Esau here. "I will sing the praises of the God of Jacob." So that tells you also that it's a lineage. It's not, it's not like Jesus loved everybody, peoples can make it. It's a lineage, it's a people. I want to get to Isaiah 9 and 5 for some reason. See to 9 and 5. "For the battle of the warriors is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire." And this is what we're getting to right now. If you don't know, I mean, it's just a time at the moment. This is a power to take. What's happening in the Levant, and Elder Apostle Tahar has always said, watch the Levant, watch the Levant. I had my eyes firmly fixed on Russia. I got all into that Ukraine conflict and I was watching it day by day, but that's just dragging on. But really, the real power to take that's going on right now is in the Levant. It's in the Middle East, in the Strait of Hormuz. And apparently that war is costing about, I can't remember, it's about between 5 and 10 billion a day. Just to sit in the Strait of Hormuz being impotent, really, because they ain't really doing anything. The Chinese ships are passing through safely with millions of barrels of oil on them, the large cargo traders, and the Americans they tried to do their Operation Freedom, but they ain't freed nothing. All the ships are stuck. So we are to the point where Trump's going to get, and Trump's under control, and he's not really doing his own thing. He's a puppet. He's been told what to do, either through direct orders or coercion. I think that the small hats got so much work that he's got no choice but to comply. And I think part of this, what's been happening recently, is right at the moment you can see that a lot of people are turning against Trump, and I think that's happening in the media because he hasn't created this last great war between or at least the small hats are trying to set up a war between what they consider the Edomites, which are the American population, and the Ishmael, which are the Arabs. But that's not really the way it's going to go. You see how it plays out, but really it's not going to be a big war. It's going to be in a long war. It's going to be very fast, as it says in Isaiah 9 and 5. It's just going to be a bunch of missiles. When the big players, they've all been using proxies because they don't really want to move their major pieces on the board. So once the big players get involved, once China gets involved, once Russia gets involved, now they have to bring out the big guns, because you have to throw heavy punches. So throw, if you've got your opponent big. So that's where we are. When the explode, at the moment they are suppressing the commodities prices. I always put the scripture in, but it says they shall cast their gold and silver on the streets. So they aren't going to lose the value of the dollar is about to go down. Their gold and silver isn't in real commodities like gold and silver. There is more in their debt instruments. And a lot of people are starting to come out with it right now. They're starting to talk about the double entry book, how when you record a debt in your ledger, inside of in your sort of ledger inside of your bank, that actually becomes an asset. So if someone else owes you money, or you've got the rights to do it, and actually that's all that American dollars and fiat currency is. It's the debt as it comes to pay. by another individual upon request. Even though it's based on nothing, it's still, there is sleight of hand and their witchcraft and their kind of, I don't know, it's the duplicity really that makes it seem like they're recording assets, but really they're just recording debts and liabilities of others. The liabilities of others are assets, and if you can create a liability, so if a bank, if you promise to pay a bank a mortgage over a fixed time of 30 years, then they record that as an asset, and they actually make money because that bank can lend against. So it's all a big mess. It's all a lot of trickery, a lot of nonsense. Where actually what we're going to see is that all that gold and silver, all their assets, all their fake stocks, all their derivatives, all of their fictional sort of trickery, financial trickery, is all becoming unraveled. People are actually starting to speak. I've heard Professor Jang was talking about in one of his latest videos, which was about, I think it was just called Trump in China. He goes into the double entry bookkeeping system, and then there was someone else talking about the double entry bookkeeping system. I can't remember what it was. Another kind of this guy that looks kind of Jewish, talking about how that just the fraudulent practice of how they're sort of creating debts and using it as money, and everybody's running around with each other, at each other's debts, and they have to be chartered in order to issue these debts. They're just creating debts because you can always. Their trick was that you can always create infinite supply of debt. You can never create an infinite supply of money, but you can create an infinite supply of debt. So by them recording debts as money on the asset side of the ledger, they can create infinite supplies of money. And America's done this. They came away from the Bretton Woods agreement, which said that that the American dollar should be redeemed by silver. They just created an infinite supply. They didn't even need anything to redeem against it. They moved it to pure fictional money, and everybody's running around trying to get this money. But it's not going to be long before people realise and start trying to, they're just going to be backing up against it. And Professor Jang was talking about multiple levels of fiction. I'm getting a bit too far into all that nonsense, because really it is all nonsense. And at the end of the day, the gold and silver is going to be all their fictional debt instruments and their fiat currency, and all their nonsense is going to be unraveled, and it's all going to be cast into the streets. And this is going to prompt the beginning of the UBI, because people are going to be, it says in the scriptures, a measure of wheat for a penny. It's going to cost a day's wages just to get a slice of bread, just to get a loaf of bread. It's going to be impossible to live. And they're already trying to set up the whole AI surveillance state, which suggests that that's where we're going to go to, UBI, be able to afford to, with the AI taking over so many of the jobs, it's not going to be. And the currency crash, and there's no way that the economy can survive, and people will not be able to feed themselves. So also the Strait of Hormuz is, driving up prices with the increase of oil prices and logistics and transport goods, and also food. They're restricting the movement of fertilizer. So there's just so much. This is it. We're right at the end. We're just waiting. Keep our eyes on the skies. It says in, I think, Luke 21, when these things happen, look up for your redemption, draweth nigh. We're right at the end now. We're waiting to see those last moves. And of course, we're talking about MOTB in Revelation 13 and 16. Where we talk about, he causes all manner of man, both small and great, rich and poor, to receive a mark on their right hand, which is going to be the microchip. It's going to be a microchip, a RFID, unique identification, because they are going to bring, King Charles already said, and I said this, and everybody said this, it's not just me, but like they take it, tried to bring in a digital ID, they took it away because of the protesting, and then it wasn't even 6 months, they brought it back. This time the King's just declared it. It's not even, they decided that, I think they weren't going to put it up to a vote, they were just going to have a royal edict. He just sat in his chair and said, that's how it's going to be. And there's, and that's what you see, where the thin veneer of democracy is. We are going to have a digital ID. It's been pronounced by the King that we're going to have a digital ID, and that's going to eventually turn into microchips. That are implanted, because people can, if you have a digital ID in your phone, you can give someone your phone. You can't give someone your hand, right? So that's where it's going to go, right? It's going to be a microchip eventually, and then after that, I don't know. That's the last major prophecy before, this burning in fields of fire, which is in Isaiah 95, but I think it's also Jeremiah 48. And I don't know what's going to happen. We've seen this stuff in Jeremiah about how Moab is going to get, Moab is going to be taken out. And we also know that Moab thinks he's got next, but Moab's been making big strides. He's doing very well in this in this fake economy. But when this fake economy goes down, Moab is going to go down with it. And there's a scripture that says, how from Moab is full, just as big, and we're making that as big, but this full is going to be big. He's positioned himself to be next. It says in 2 Kings 6. But it just says Jacob took Esau's hill. Esau holding on to. Jacob holding on to Esau's hill shows that that Jacob's kingdom is going to be directly after Esau's kingdom. It's not going to be any Moab in between. There's not going to be any peekaboo by the Edomites after 1,000 years, and then they come back. No, after Esau goes down, it's going to be Jacob's kingdom, and he's got next. So Moab is, Professor John was saying the same. He was saying that Moab, that they think, that they know that their economy, the Chinese economy, is built on this fiction. It's built directly on fiat currency, on American consumerism, is built on derivative. So as that doesn't work, then go down. Troubles that we're going through. It says, behold, I've refined you, but not with silver. I've chosen you from the furnace of affliction. For my name's sake, even for my name's sake will I do it. For how should my name be? I will not give glory until I hearken unto me and take it. My call, I am he, I am the first, I am also the last. And I hand has also laid the foundation of the earth, and my right hand has spanned the heavens. When I call unto them, they stand up together. All ye assemble yourselves, and hear which of them among us declare these things. So we can see that it's really down to the Lord's will as to who's going to come next, who's got next, and this vision, as it says in Habakkuk, is for an appointed time. The time was marked on the calendar from the foundation of the earth. We just don't know when it is. But it's not like, oh, the Lord's there, I was there, so let me roll it on. He said it's going to be on this time, and he brought it forward. It says in there, the day shall be short. It says in the scriptures, the day shall be short. He brought it forward because he said, no flesh would be saved if it wasn't, the days were not short. So that's all I'm going to go into. Wrap it up here. All praise to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh. Also the great most of the world, peace and blessings, Abraham, faithfully following his word,